Alrighty, sorry about that. I'm gonna show off a little thing I haven't worked on in a little bit, but so right off the bat you'll see that it's using the Lord of the Rings mod, the renewed version for 1.16, and I've made a little data pack. So we'll go ahead and create a new world. Let's say the test. There we go. Pop over to creative real quick. Main thing, even though it says Middle Earth, that's so that way it'll spawn the person directly into the Lord of the Rings dimension. But I've done something, and I'm going to show you exactly what that something is. May take a good few minutes here. Don't know if guess I'll go ahead and ruin the surprise. So I've decided to call it for now AurbisCraft. I don't know if I'm butchering that name or not, but the Orbis, however it's pronounced, is basically the universe of which all the Elder Scrolls realms are contained in. So basically the Lord of the Rings mod, one of the awesome things about it is it looks at an image and it will generate the world based off of that image. So it'll look at a color and be like, oh, well, this color green, this means plains biome, and this color blue, this will mean ocean. And so after you've painted your world, you can have it generate that. And then to go even further in depth, you can customize waypoints, roads, set up factions. I used to have some of the roads set up for this map, but I've since then removed the roads part of the folder and I'm gonna have to rewrite it. The reason I did that is I updated the image that I'm using, that the Tamriel is based on. The Tamriel I'm using is from Morrowind. The Morrowind mod project team, was it the PT Project Tamriel? Also Tamriel Rebuilt, one of the two. I think it's Project Tamriel is the main thing. But so basically I'm using their map for the outline of Nirn. Nirn is the planet, and it'll take a second here. So whenever the world first loads in, first thing it'll do is it spawns the player on Vardenfell. For those of you who don't know the geography of Elder Scrolls, Vardenfell is where the game Morrowind takes place on. It's the island found within the province of Morrowind. Vardenfell is just one of the islands. But I've not really done the whole map yet, coding-wise, but second I thought it was going to crash. I was like, uh-oh. Alright, so right now, as you'll see over there, I don't know if it shows under me. Yep, alright, it does. I'll look at the second monitor. So, it shows Red Mountain. That's because I basically took the Mordor biome and renamed it Red Mountain. I need to remove water from spawning, so that way it doesn't generate that. But go ahead and open the map image, and again, it'll take a second, because this is a big boyo, because this is not just Nirn. We have the entire Orbis. And the last thing I did on this, it was like a week ago, I started painting the image for the overlay. I didn't really like how bland it felt. I felt like it needed some more, what would that be? Like, I don't know, like pop. Like, it just seemed very bland, because, let's see what I'm talking about. Alright, so, if we point at a biome, it'll show at the bottom what that biome is. Now, right now, just pointing at this biome, tes.redmountain_mountains, that's because I haven't set up the language file. Most of these I had set up the language, so like, it shows pretty nice. And we have some of the waypoints, so like Vivek, Shrine of Azura. There's going to be a lot more because of the placeholders down there. Going to use the image to look at, but like this island, for example, pretty much got all of it. I need to code the road. Right now I do have one road coded, and that's down here on this island. So, turned out alright. A little wavy. But, so here we have the entire continent of Tamriel. Right now, most of the land is moon shadow. That's from one of the other realms, but that's because the color that is the land's painted is set for that biome. But here on the Imperial City, I actually had all these roads coded, but I've removed them. But eventually I'll re-add them back, or redo that. But so like, it actually knows the districts. So if we point at different districts in the arena, it actually knows like the arena or arena district. So if we go ahead and hit enter, for the arena biome, like the actual arena part, I've set it as sand. So we can actually go ahead and see at this size how big the arena would be roughly. For those of you who don't know, Daggerfall was the world's biggest map, like the biggest game map until Minecraft came out. So if I or anyone else ends up like fully putting all of this into Minecraft, I mean that's just the natural spiritual successor. Minecraft also being a procedural game. I do have some notes though for things I'd like to see improved. I've already suggested adding height map support, so that way instead of just looking at the biome map, it would also overlay it to the height map, so that way you'll get your terrain data from the height, which would be really handy instead of just relying on the biome part itself. But now what I was talking about earlier with the whole, it seemed a little bit bland, over here on the left you'll see it coming across the bottom. I've actually done a little bit of editing and added some little borders and whatnot. I don't know why I'm going to put in this little gap right here yet, but I also added like the icons. I haven't finished. So like this guy, for example, he's not on there. Haven't finished him. But I've added some of the images from other video games. So like Elder Scrolls Online, there's one of its realms, and then like these little red squares, those are from Oblivion. I've kind of placed them around. I think this terrain I got from a mod that added the Deadlands, so I've used their outline for it. But I don't know, part of me doesn't like the way it fits in. But then we have Cameron's Paradise from Oblivion, that's there. The Shivering Isles from Oblivion, that's there, also with the icon for Sheogorath. Now that is actually separated into two. It knows Mania and Dementia, also the Fringe, and I also did the Gates of Madness. The reason being is waypoints can be locked behind certain regions, so whenever somebody entered the Fringe, from the door, I didn't want them to instantly be able to fast travel to the Gates of Madness and, go out. So this way they'll actually have to go there first, and then it'll unlock the Gates of Madness when they reach that biome. Eventually I'll have to add more than just Mania and Dementia, because since it doesn't use height, I'll have to actually add different biomes for mountainous regions or swampy. Right now the sea is just called the sea. I believe there's 2 seas in the Shivering Isles that I'll have to paint. I'd have to double check, or maybe it's just 1 sea. Again, I'll have to double check. But some of these areas I haven't painted at all because they're just kind of there. Oh, okay. Well, right here, this was the original spot right here where this was. That's the Clockwork City. And over here I've placed the Soul Cairn. Yeah, it's right now it's set to generate the world at roughly the same scale it was in the video games. So that way you pretty much get a one-to-one recreation almost. But the only two islands I've really done is these two. Like these two, like the colors you're seeing on this is pretty much the colors that the biomes use. Another thing I'm not too sure if I liked or not, I went ahead and placed that there, but this is the part I'm not too sure if I'm going to settle with this or not. I placed Sovngarde at the top at Mora. I figured I'd use the Immersive Portals mod. Oh. Well, that's not... Well, these right here are the original waypoints for the Lord of the Rings mod. Have to zero them out so that way it doesn't place them here anymore. But yeah, so I'm going to use the Immersive Portals mod if it still has this one feature that I really liked. I want to say it's Euclidean. It basically, one of the things it allows you to do is you can make it where the world will invert in on itself. I think that's the proper terminology. So basically, when you would get like up to this top part, instead of continuing on, it would basically mirror in on itself. So when you start going up, you'll actually start coming down. Or I could make it where you would come across, but I'm going to just make it pull back in on itself. Because I don't want somebody to just... it wouldn't make sense if somebody went north and then came from the south. You know, now, I mean, it would make sense if they went, you know, left and then came from the right. But I don't think I can have certain situation things like that, you know, where, okay, we go this way, then they'll come over here, but if we go there, then we'll come back down. Come from the top going down. Yakuta, I actually finished painting that. This is the... Actually, I shouldn't say that. I think this is the Yakuta from EK2, but I've used those colors, and I've repainted Yakuta based on Project Tamriel's Yakuta. But right now, I believe the Yakuta we're looking at is from CK2. Not CK2, EK2, Elder Kings 2. Yeah, again, here's these islands painted with Elder Kings colors. I'm not too sure. I want to say this may be Elder King 2's Yakuta, but I could be wrong. Because I'm not sure if I've updated the image or not. Oh, yeah, I think I might have updated the image, because right here we have placeholder of Akavir with Kamal, Sayesi, Tangmo. So if we actually went over here to like somewhere in Kamal, or if I'm saying that right, it's basically just snow. And then Sayesi, I don't even know what I'd set their biome as. Might be the Shire. Yeah, I've basically been looking at Lord of the Rings biomes, comparing them closest to their Elder Scrolls counterpart. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Some of the world's done, a lot of it left to go. One thing I need to do, it's gonna be a pain, but this right here is the current factions. I think I got like 70 of them programmed. So like East Empire, we can see where they are affiliated. Raven Rock. And then they have a headquarters. Also, I'm going to have to place one up there in, I think it was Solitude. For some reason it's saying Falkreath, but that's Solitude right there. Alright, so the Imperial Legion, that one has a lot more territory. One thing that I'm going to have to look back into again is setting up NPCs, because I don't think I ever figured that part out. And that's going to be very crucial. But here's the Black Marsh factions. Again, you see up here that I don't have the language set up, but I plan on rewriting the faction system, so whenever we go to page 1, instead of it showing these, page 1 would, I think, be the main gods, and then, or no, it'd be like religion, or wait, can't even remember exactly. Alright, so it was going to be like gods, then the next page would be religions, and then the next page would be like the 3 banner war, so it'd show the 3 main factions that were fighting during Elder Scrolls Online. That way, in case somebody sets up the map to be during that timeline, there would be already the factions set up for it. But if it's not during that timeline, the faction will just be a placeholder, or the factions will just be a placeholder. And then after the 3 banner war, then it'll go empires, then what was it? Empires, kingdoms, counties, duchy, barony, whatever. I was taking notes from Elder Kings, and also I wanted to have the gods included, because with the Lord of the Rings mod, they have this Cure Questa, which is basically the overhauled speech system. So if somebody is like aligned with a faction, they can have specific dialogue based on various conditions. So like, say for example, if I'm holding a diamond sword, the NPC might be like, oh man, you've already found diamonds, or you know, something like that. But I figured that'd be really important for if I can end up getting the NPCs working, that Cure Quest is going to be a lifesaver for recreating the dynamic dialogue the NPCs would say in like Skyrim, you know, where if you've maxed out your hand-to-hand, they'll be like, oh, I would hate to fight you in a, you know, fist-to-fist. But, man. So this is on 1.16. So right there, 16 leagues. Another handy thing about this data pack is there's a the Lord of the Rings in general. The way they've done this is you can edit the map.json, and you can make it where whatever image it looks at, you can change the scale power. So right now it's just doing like 4. So it looks at an image and then times it by like 4 or whatever. That's the scale power. And that's how we get like the 1-to-1. But if we want a true scale version, I forget what it was, but I think it was like 8 or 9 is what you change it to. And the way you check is you go up here to Red Mountain, and then you'll click on Almalexia. And when it's like 250 miles, then you know that's you use the right setting. But it doesn't do exactly 250. I think it goes a little bit over. But if you do like, I think it was 9 is the right one, but if you do 8, it's way too low. Or maybe it was 8 was the right one, but if you do 7, it's way too low, and 9's way too high. Yeah, it's somewhere around there. But overall, I have really been pleased with just tinkering around with this. I can't wait to see Morrowind actually build all this inside Morrowind's engine, especially the Imperial City. If they do this version, oh, and I added this little island. This wasn't in the PT in their overlay. I grabbed that, I think, from EK. I think I grabbed that from EK2, because that's the island where in Oblivion you go there to make your wizard staff. And yeah, I don't know if that island is one of these, but there it is. And all these are going to be, I think, rice paddy fields, if I remember correctly. Those little ponds, which those ponds are going to have to be touched up in some cases, and especially like the stream. because the stream actually has to like connect, otherwise it'll be like squared. Here, I'll show you like this weird merger here. Oh, well, it actually somewhat connected. Oh wait, it did not. I was mistaken. Yeah. Have to post it and show you guys. Thank you for watching.